In 2009, I was only 23 years old, a fresh graduate, very ambitious, and I was looking for a junior consulting job here in Paris. So at some point I interviewed with a very seasoned director, charismatic lady with a big smile, big bright smile. The first question she asked me in the interview was, forget the junior consulting position right now. If I am to offer you the job of your dreams right now, what would you pick? So I was surprised, obviously, and I thought for a minute, and then I asked her, well, ideally, I would be the director of one of your companies somewhere in the world. She looked at me, she looked at 23-year-old me, and she smiled. Now, 2 weeks later, she gave me a phone call, and she told me that I did get the job, but as a junior consultant, of course, not as a director. But I did, however, a few years later, I did quit and start my own company, SMG, that I co-founded with my best friend. Now, why am I telling you this story? Because just a few weeks ago, I used this exact same story on LinkedIn to wish my community a Happy New Year. So I adapted it quite a bit, but I mostly added two things. A spontaneous picture taken at the office of my team, SMG, and I added a lesson right at the end of it. The lesson said, in 2017, live up to who you are. If you're not offered your dream opportunity, then create it. I was really looking just to wish a Happy New Year to everybody in a different way. But to my big surprise, the post completely blew up. So, from only 1,000 followers, which is a small community for LinkedIn, the post generated over 145,000 views. It was shared all over the world, in Egypt, in France, in London, in New York. It brought to our website 1,500 people in just a few days, the story alone. It generated some other hundreds of likes, comments, and shares from all over the place. I could have said, on behalf of my team, I wish you a very happy new year, full of happiness, passion, and inspiration. But that wouldn't have scratched the face of the earth. And yet, this is what we see most of the time, unfortunately. The problem with this message is that it's very conventional, it's very typical, and just because we use words such as passion and inspiration, it does not mean that people will feel passion and inspiration. So you have to make them feel it. Part of the stuff we see all over the place also is something like, our annual report on the state of the economy is now available. Click here to download it. Picture that you've been working for weeks, months, or years on a very dear project of yours. And you have come to great results, and you'd like to announce them to the world. If you announce them this way, chances are that no one will see them. And even if they do, they won't remember them. And it's completely unfair because you've done great work. Just because of the way you announce it, it goes unseen. We've done some research at SMG and we came up with the generic formula of the typical post. It goes something like, we at insert big name here, could be any company, are the leaders of our industry with over, insert the big number here. Years of experience and insert bigger number here in offices around the world. So you can take this formula, you apply it, it will always work. And here again, the problem is that a lot of people think that this is a story. It's actually the opposite. This is a very flat message that no one remembers. And just because we've accumulated numbers, big numbers, and keywords such as leader and around the world, it does not mean that people will remember it or that they will be impressed. Now, you might be saying, Tarek, this story is great, but it only works on social media, or some others would say, it only works for individual communication, it won't work for brands. Maybe some of you might say, yeah, it's a B2B thing, it's not B2C, or the other way around. Well, if you thought of one of those things, would you be right? No, you would be wrong. And the reason is that as long as we're talking to a human being, as long as the the receiving end of your message is a human being, a bit like what you said, Tamara, then stories will always be effective, powerful stories. That's what we call H2H, human to human. And this rule will always work for great stories. So yes, social media is a great medium for stories, but so is speaking and presentation. So you've probably noticed my entire structure here is based on a story. Video is great for storytelling. You all know that. But the problem with the video industry today, we focus too much attention on creating a beautiful video with fancy graphics and visuals, which is great. But we tend to forget the most basic and important thing for video, which is the underlying message. What's your underlying message and story? So if your underlying story is weak or inexistent, then chances are, again, that it will just be another beautiful video. Emailing, obviously, and memos work great for stories. So if you have a big announcement for your team or your company, and you don't want them to just say, just another email from the director or anything. If you use a story, chances are that they will, first of all, open it, read it all the way, and drive action. Take the action that you're asking them to do. Be it download or subscribe or buy my product or whatever it is. Websites, infographics, branding, they're all great mediums for storytelling when it's used right. Now, is it easy to use a story, to craft the perfect story that is powerful and that speaks to a specific audience, that triggers a specific emotion, and that drives a specific action? Is it easy? It's actually complicated. And there are multiple reasons why it's not easy, but I'm just going to focus on two right now. The first one is that it demands a lot of creativity, a whole lot. The type of creativity that we have trouble finding today. And the second reason is that it's a niche skill. It's a very niche skill. And so just because we have a big marketing and communications team does not mean that we're able to generate great stories or that we're storytellers. Probably the big, or like the good first step would be in this case, is acknowledge the need for change in our communication, and then use this step to build on top of it and generate actual change. Thank you all very much.